It's 2025, and of all the games I could be playing, I keep coming back to this. Tom Clancy's Division 1. A game that released in 2016 that somehow still manages to captivate me more than anything released since. Not just because of nostalgia, but because of the world. This broken, snow-covered, post-pandemic New York City is unlike anything I've experienced in gaming, before or after. This is my deep dive into why, to me, the Division 1's open world is a true masterpiece. The Division takes place in an incredible remake of New York City. You don't just spawn into a random generic open world, you actually land in a place that feels lived in, feels abandoned, and it's been battered by a crisis. Snow blankets the streets, visibility can be really bad, and the wind howls through the alleyways. The winter setting isn't just for aesthetic though, it shapes your entire experience. One of the most overlooked things in Division 1 is how it actually blends environmental storytelling with functional game design. I'll explain. From the abandoned shops and the restaurants to the holiday decorations that are still hanging in usable buildings, every single inch of the city tells you something. It tells you about the timeline of the collapse, how people responded, and how quickly order vanished. But it also invites you to explore within the game design in these areas where you can actually find all sorts of hidden loot. And there's a feeling to the world that doesn't rely on constant action. There are quiet moments that let you breathe, just standing still for a moment, taking in the environment around you, or walking down a silent street, on edge for different attackers or different survivors that might need your help. It invites you to slow down, to feel the real energy of the setting. From a world-building perspective, Ubisoft went all in on this. New York is really well designed, and even though it's compressed for gameplay, it still feels real. The atmosphere is where Division 1 really elevates from good to unforgettable in my opinion. The tone isn't forced through different cutscenes like in some games, it's embedded in the actual world itself. In the sirens. In the silences. And that audio design itself is an absolute masterclass. The pandemic theme, sadly, it hits even harder in hindsight. But back in 2016, the game still had a huge sense of realism. It wasn't about super zombies or fantasy, it was really grounded. It was actually scarily possible, as we found out. You're really an agent and you're trying to hold the pieces of the world together. Distant gunfire echoes almost through empty streets and dogs bark in alleyways or even at survivors sometimes. But just as impactful is what is there, is what actually isn't there. The weird vibe as the absence of human life creates tension. You start to kind of notice how rare peace can actually be. Because around every corner is a possible danger. And the lighting is incredible. For a game released in 2016, it still looks fantastic to this day. Whether it's the sun piercing through that snowy sky or the cold blue glow of distant lights at night, the game really uses the colour and shadow to manipulate your emotional response. You can almost feel when the danger is actually near you, and you can, in contrast, sense when you're safe. And often, it's an actual genuine relief. The tone set by the remnants of life around you tells stories about the collapse, and these stories actually stick with you.
Hello, this is Naomi.
Hi again, Naomi. This is Allie from 89.8 again, and I have some good news for you.
feel the energy follow you around. The signs are all there for anyone who stops to look. And the audio logs, echoes, phones, laptops, they're not just stories. They create almost a picture that grounds you to the experience. Every echo reconstructs a moment frozen in time, showing the final seconds of civilians or soldiers or even just servicemen before the actual collapse happened. Every single phone message reveals almost some form of panic, confusion, and humanity. These are little breadcrumbs of a story that's actually much bigger than the one you play. And also there's the attention to that detail. There's trash piles everywhere. The graffiti changes depending on the faction controlling the area. It's almost a living, breathing disaster zone that refuses to be static. Ubisoft themselves clearly obsessed over every element for the Division. This wasn't just about building a looter shooter, it was almost about crafting an environment that could exist, even if you're actually not playing. The energy of the world is what still resonates with fans today. And that Dark Zone, in particular, deserves a special mention. I forgot about this Dark Zone. It's tense, it's mad nervy, and my lord, it's an experience. As you can see in the clip that follows, I got absolutely railed in my first visit. And most games, to be honest, I've played over the years have been open world games, but nothing feels like the Division 1. I remember the first time I stepped into the snowy streets back then, and there was no background music or anything like that. It was just snow, wind, and the orange glow from my watch and my backpack. I wasn't a superhero, I was just a random guy trying to help stabilize a city falling apart. And there was that vibe to it, that beauty in the decay around you and throughout the game. The game didn't need to scream at you every minute, it almost whispered. And those whispers, again, stayed with me throughout the game. It made you consistently feel the environment around you, no matter whether you're at the beginning of the game or you're coming to the end game. And even after Division 2 launched with its brighter setting, more gear, better tech, I still kept thinking about New York. I still kept thinking about the blizzards, the silence, the feeling of isolation and purpose. I always felt drawn back. And to me, Division 1 isn't just a game, it's a feeling. And it's one that no other game has quite since replicated. It nails the fantasy of being an agent, but also being a human being, and trying to bring order to the chaos, not by being overpowered, but by being determined and grinding your way through. And even in 2025, it still holds up visually, technically, emotionally. It's open world, it still respects your time, your attention, and your imagination. You get out what you put in. If you're willing to grind, you will get results. And if you've got imaginative ways of completing missions or teaming up with friends, it really is a game changer. The Division 1, it can haunt you. As you play through the game and feelings and thoughts follow you around through the story mode and the campaign and survival. And while it haunts you, in my eyes, that's what makes it a masterpiece. If you felt the same way about the Division 1 like I do, drop me a comment down below. Share me your best memory from the game, or simply just tell me if you agree that this open world deserves way more love than it gets. Suit up, agents. I'll see you in the Dark Zone. Peace.